everybody. This is Carol Morrock, and welcome to the Snug Safe Live. And I hope many of you will join us today. Well, I'm also recording it just in case.
Exactly. Yeah, great.
So welcome to Snug Safe. It is a free app that checks in every day to make sure that you're okay. And today's guest is Preet Anand, and he is the co-founder of the Snug Safe app that you can get on your iPhone as well as your Android.
Thanks for having me, Carol. And thank you to the many Snug customers we have in the group.
Welcome to the Elder Orphan Facebook group, Preet. We welcome you where you'll have or you find many of your own users in using the Snug Safe app. And I personally have been using it for 5 years now and have been using the free app and feel very, very safe and secure because it checks in on me every day. And I really love seeing the little green check mark. So, how did Snug get started, Preet?
Yeah, so we were working on a different product back in late 2016, and we had a customer by the name of Jan write into us, and she said, I have an idea, and she said, I'm in pretty good health. I have a condition, but I'm in good health. I live on my own, but I just want something to check in on me once in a while. And so I talked with her on the phone. She said, can you build this into your product? And after learning a little bit about her needs, learning a little bit about elder orphans in general, and just the how many people have, live independently and live alone, we said, we think something specific is what's needed here. So after working with Jan, we then did a pilot group with about 32 people. Me and my partners were waking up at 5 a.m. To respond to the check-ins and if people had false alarms. And we realized it was really helping people and they were using it every day. And so that's how it started.
When did you started Snug in 2018? Is that right?
Late 2016 is when we started building the product. And it was kind of in let's call it beta mode through 2017. And then in 2018 is when we really started to grow the product, and very much over COVID, it really started to really pick up in its usage. And now we have tens of thousands of people every day across the country using Snug.
How many people do you have as users?
Oh, we have tens of thousands of people every day using Snug.
That's amazing. Now on the app itself, how often do you update?
So we try actually as much as possible to not update that often. Part of what Snug's value to our customers is about something that checks in every day, is very reliable, very easy to use. And so we only want to introduce something out when it's going to make things clearly better, or it's going to fix a very specific problem. So we publish little changes probably once a month, but in terms of updating the app, it's probably every 3 to 4 months. And in terms of major changes, maybe only once a year.
And before we came on, we were talking about creating a safety check-in with our neighbors and friends. And you had told me that I could have up to 5 people, my own neighbors around here on my check-in that I could check in with every morning. So I'm curious, how do you suggest that we build out, because some people don't have a lot of friends and neighbors. So do you have any suggestions of how they can kind of create their own network of support?
Absolutely. So I'm going to first start with folks who presuming certain relationships, but I'll get to for those who might need to build new relationships. we suggest that you have a mix of people near and far. You might have very close friends or very close family members who uh, live farther away, but with whom you have a very intimate relationship and a lot of trust. Those are important people to still have in your emergency contacts. But then it's who are the people that you might interact with and are in your close physical proximity. And some of those people might be neighbors, but there might be someone that you meet up on a walking group together, or that you occasionally see at the coffee shop, or whoever that might be that you have regular repeated interaction with, and who ideally would notice or be curious if they hadn't seen you during that regular repeated interaction. And that's the person that you want to set up with as a Snug contact. So that way you've got someone far away who's got very high trust, but someone you also see very frequently. And now sometimes you might need to help develop that relationship. And then part of that is just having a conversation of, first getting to know each other, learning about each other's lives. And then, you might get to a point of, hey, I live alone. I just want someone to know in case something happens. What could be a variety of things, maybe something health related, could be related to potentially a fall. Are you okay if I add you as a contact? And most of the time people feel so honored and grateful to be done with that. You should set expectations with them what happens. And Snug does that too. But that's how I would suggest going about it.
Okay. And so can you tell us, kind of walk us through a scenario of how Snug, the free version works, as opposed to, let's just say the free version, and what happens if a user fails to check in?
Sure. So when you set up Snug, you pick a time that you want to check in by. So let's say for me, it's usually after breakfast. And I'm a bit of a late riser. And so 8:30 would be the time that I want to check in by. And so what will happen is Snug will first remind you 3 hours before your check-in time. And I would then get a silent notification at 5:30, Preet, remember to check in. And that means anytime before 8:30, I can just open the Snug app and check in, and I'll get a big green check mark and a quote of the day. At 8:30 though, and I'll keep getting multiple reminders, at 8:30, if I haven't checked in yet, Snug will send me one more reminder, Preet, remember to check in with Snug, otherwise we'll let your emergency contacts know. If I still don't check in 10 minutes after that check-in deadline, Snug will then, on the free plan, text all of my emergency contacts with a message saying, Preet hasn't checked in yet with Snug, you may want to check in on them, and here is their last known location. Because also people travel a lot, so that location is important. And for Snug customers, we see that about 7 to 8% of them are enabling vacation mode every month. Visiting friends, visiting family, doing their own trips, a variety of potential things. So that's what that purpose of that is. On the paid dispatch plan, everything is the same, except when you miss your check-in, a professional dispatcher will call you first to check on you after you miss that notification. Then they will call each of your emergency contacts as well and check if any of them are familiar with you. In the event no one confirms knowing that you're okay, they will then call emergency services to arrange a wellness check to your location.
And would the police be part of that scenario?
It depends on each county or city. It could be either police or paramedics with fire.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so and before we went live, you were telling me about some of the things you're planning to add, new applications. So can you tell us about that?
Sure. So it's not really new applications. It's just ways that we want to continue to enhance Snug for people. So one of the big things, first of all, is last year we enabled the ability to have multiple check-ins per day. Most people use Snug with one check-in per day, but for some folks, they want something in the morning, something in the evening. So we're going to be making that easier to set up. Another one is then adding what's often called the file of life, or we call a profile, such that after you miss a check-in, currently your contacts are notified again that you missed your check-in, they get your location. If something did happen though, they may need some other information as well. If you have a pet, what are your pet's needs? Is there certain food that your pets need, certain medication they needs? For you, is there any sort of information you need to have, such as, if you have an advance directive, what is your insurance plans, other things potentially regarding to your estate? And this sort of context is really helpful that somebody should be able to help you both, of course, to ideally something never happens with prevention, but then there's giving them the best information so they can help you the best after an issue. And that's what we've seen already with Snug, is that a lot of folks, the value Snug provides is first that daily security that someone's going to know, and that they'll know if they're okay because they didn't get notified, but also that daily security of if something happens, people will know quickly. It won't be days before someone finds out. And we've had somebody who had a stroke that Snug helped out a lot, somebody with liver failure, kidney failure, that Snug helped them get really timely help. And then we've also had some family members where unfortunately someone did pass, but because of the timely notification from Snug, they at least were able to take care of things in a prompt fashion, and also really support that pet and make sure that there wasn't any collateral damage that happened from there.
And we were having this conversation the other day in my group. Well, could you upload, or could someone talk about maybe like a DNR, or maybe, do not resuscitate, or any other end of life instructions? Is there any way that you could, I don't know, maybe upload some information or steps or people to contact just in case? How could they be notified, the contacts?
So the intent is, and this is still in design.
Okay.
Anyone who watches this, we would love to get their feedback. So anyone who watches this, you can also share this separately later on, Carol.
I
But
will.
we're working on this. But the idea is your contacts would be the ones who are given that extra information. And then with them knowing that you were incapacitated, hopefully one of them, again, this is the importance of having a local contact as well, not just a trusted one, but a local one as well.
Yes.
Is that they're hopefully have been present at some point during that medical incident and go to the hospital, or at least can give that context to the hospital. And so after they've been notified that you missed your check-in, we wouldn't share it right away. We'd probably share it like an hour after, but this might be something we configure. There's then just another link sent that other link would be, this is Preet's, end of life instructions, or this is Preet's file of life is other phrase we've heard. We're figuring out the naming still. And then you press that, you confirm your own number, because we want to make sure only specific people have access to this information. It's really precious information. I confirm I'm Preet, and then there's whatever information you've put in. That might be something you uploaded. Most likely we'll just actually give you a box that you can just type in whatever you want. And then what you type in might even be where to get more information from. But that's what the intent is going to be. And so that way, whoever your contacts are have that information, and they have it in a timely fashion so it can be used for whatever response is needed. Because otherwise, sometimes people will get this information, but it can be days or weeks later. It's not as helpful as it could be on the spot.
Yeah, and especially, for example, most of us keep our emergency information on the refrigerator, like our healthcare proxy, DNR, for example, any type of information that the medical healthcare system needs access to.
That's right.
So the EMTs will grab it off of the refrigerator, but it would be great to be able to kind of notify our contact where it is in this little note box, right? Here's where I keep all my medical records, for example.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, with other instructions too. That's a great idea. So anything else that you can add to that?
Well, we're always open to hearing new ideas and more ideas. So again, if you're watching this, you could shoot me an email, preet@snugsafety.com. But the other one we're always thinking about is just how do we refine the product, make it even easier. One of the things the latest Apple update has done is made it so you can embed what's called a widget on your iPhone. So now we can take it from 2 taps to checking in to maybe just one tap to checking in. And again, just one small way to make it easier for everybody. Another one, which you're welcome to share with us, is we want to refresh our quotes. Some of them have gotten stale. Sometimes you see a quote like twice in a week and it's kind of like, okay, I just saw this. This isn't. And so we those are some of the things. Another one that we're thinking about is weekend settings. Our customers are generally folks who are generally retired or have already sort of become semi-retired, but there's all sorts of folks on different schedules, and some people have one sleeping schedule during the week and another sleeping schedule on the weekend, and that Snug being the same time every day, they are more likely to miss their check-in on the weekend and have a false alarm in turn, which can be very stressful. So that's something we're thinking about. But again, for us, we might have an idea. We'll talk to customers to see, is that idea actually really valuable or not? And then we will test it with a very small group of 20 to 50 people, see how that goes, and then make a decision on, do we bring it out to thousands and thousands and thousands of people or not? Because again, we only want to do something that, again, is easy, friendly, and creates more value.
Sure. And what about other reminders like medications or your doctor's appointment or something like that?
So we've thought about it. So far, we don't see how that will become. We don't feel like we will create a lot of value in that. We feel that a lot of people have already developed their own solutions with it on how to approach that. And that for Snug to try to do that very, very well, we will most likely need to be integrating with something else, and then we'll be very piecemeal in then how we can do it. So thus far, we've made the decision that we don't feel confident we could do that, but open to being proven wrong.
Well, okay. All right. Well,
if someone has a specific idea, including you, Carol, on, hey, Preet, when I check in with Snug and you give me the quote of the day, after that, I also want to hear, make sure I do these 2 things, maybe, and that's helpful to you. I want to hear about it.
Sure. Okay. Can you share a few heartwarming stories, user stories?
We definitely do. I'll read you one that came in literally today. I love it already after only 2 days. It was recommended to me by a friend, and I've already recommended it to another friend. Thank you. How comforting to know I'm being checked on every morning and by a pleasant, sunny face. And I enjoy the daily thoughts. A wonderful way to start the day. Every day we get something like that. Or another one also is for people who are going through often painful moments of transition in their life. It's also quite helpful. This was from last week. Recently losing my husband, my sister worried about me living alone. Someone at her office told her about Snug, and she texted me that I should look into this app for her peace of mind too. It was easy to set up. It's easy to use. Thank you for a great app.
Oh, sweet.
And so, knowing that we can play a small role of, bringing peace of mind to this person after unfortunately losing her husband, and also to help support that overall family. We feel very grateful that we get stories like that every day.
Yeah, I just feel like we're building this community, right, of people like me who are making each other feel safe, right? We're all connected in some way.
Yeah, and connection's really valuable too. And you were asking about plans ahead. One thing we are thinking about a lot is just are there other ways that we can foster connection? And right now, Snug really serves the purpose of more interaction and that sort of safety within existing connections. But is there anything we can do to maybe make that also on a daily basis, even sharing your quote of the day with your contacts as well? So that maybe gives you something new to talk about. That might be a good idea, that might be a bad idea, but that's just again, something we're curious about. Are there, again, we're at tens of thousands of people now and continuing to grow at a pretty good clip. There's probably little groups of Snug customers all in the same, within a few miles of each other already now. Is there anything we should be doing to try to, even create the opportunity to connect? For a lot of people, that probably wouldn't be valuable, but maybe it could be. So these are things we're thinking about. Most likely, we won't take any action on them unless we can find something that we, again, feel will be easy, friendly, and create a lot of value. But those are some of the things we're thinking about.
Yeah, I really like that idea of because one of our biggest issues, and I say our, is people like me who are aging alone, is that we want and need other people in our lives. And because we've been living alone for so long, many of us are kind of gotten in a habit of just taking care of ourselves and not really reaching out to others. We just a groove of not making connection. We start feeling more comfortable being alone, which isn't good because the older we get, the more challenging it becomes. And we need that interaction and we need to connect with other people. And then we start feeling it. And unfortunately, for some of us, it's very difficult once you reach a certain point. Either you become immobile, or you just start to feel less confident in connecting with other people. But if there's some way to encourage us to to reach out and to actually make connections with nearby people, or I think we need more encouragement to do that.
Yeah, and that's where also I think one of the things that I really appreciate about how you've really been someone, I think, creating a lot of valuable information for others is just on the different planning that you've done and plans you've made, but also I think how you've made a deliberate choice to live somewhere where there's a lot of people nearby for you, and it's easy to create that social connection. I think if we were to approach something here, we'll of course always start small. Ideally, it's something where you don't have to reach out. It's more that something creates the chance for you to grab onto.
Yes.
Because it's very hard often to be the first on anything. Whereas if you know that there's already something there, it's easy to kind of pull into. And so that's, I think, what we would try to do. It might even be something as simple as working with a coffee shop in the area and just say, hey, this day in February, I'm making it up on the spot. So
sure.
Tell me, everyone, write in if this was a terrible idea, but also write in if you like the idea. But it might be this day in February. If you're a Snug customer, come in, get a coffee during this 30-minute break, a free cup of coffee or a free cup of tea, whatever you like. And just say hello to someone else. And again, that's creating a reason to get out, go to a specific spot, and most likely you'll end up meeting people in a similar circumstance. Maybe we can set up a dress code of wear blue that day or something else like that.
Well, there you go.
And just creates an opportunity. And then in that situation, the worst that happens is you get a free cup of coffee. And the best that happens is you make a great new friend. So that might be something that it'd be cool to see if we could do something about.
Well, let me know, because I'd be interested in starting a pilot.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because I have a Dallas group of people aging alone, and that might be something we could try. Hey, who knows? I think it'd be fun.
Okay, all right. I will.
Well, just keep that in mind. Question on emergency situations. Can you tell us how Snug helped customers bypass catastrophes?
So what Snug has usually been able to do in a catastrophe is get people help a lot faster. Unfortunately, sometimes there'll be, there's some situations that a medical incident happens and it's instant, and Snug can't really, unfortunately, make a difference. But there's a lot of ones like a stroke, like again, like I spoke about before, kidney failure, also even some heart attacks, or certainly a fall, where there's still time. Time matters a lot, but there is still some time for a response. And so Snug has been able to help in a lot of these cases to get someone help in time, make sure somebody knows, they realize that person's in capacity, not responding to the phone call, and then they dispatch, someone gets to them in a timely fashion. And that timing is important for the person who's the Snug customer, but it's often for other people in the house, people or pets in the house that depend on them.
Yes.
We have parents who have special needs children who are Snug customers as well. And they do it because they're worried that if something happened to them, who's going to know for the kids' sake? And so those are some of the sort of things that the help that Snug has been able to create.
It feels so good to connect with you and do this live for this group of individuals who are really your biggest client or biggest type of client. So I really appreciate your time today and answering some of our questions. And I'm sure we'll have more. And if people do question or put questions in the comment section, I can send those to you via email. So if anyone is interested in downloading the app, just go to the App Store, look for Snug Safe or Snug Safety on your app or in your app store, and download it for either an iPhone or an Android. You'll have two options. One is free. That's the one I've been using for 5 years. The second one is the subscription. And Preet, I believe is that still $9.95?
It is $9.99 a month or
$9.99. Okay.
Or $9.99 per year. People do get a discount by being in the group.
Absolutely. So that use the affiliate code SOLO10. That's SOLO10, SOLO10. And I'll also put it in the comment section below. And thank you all for joining us. If you have questions, again, just place it in the comment and I'll make sure that Preet gets it.